Welcome to the Courtauld Collection in detail. I am Karen Saris, Curator of Paintings at the Courtauld, and the detail that I'm focusing on today is the vase of flowers in the upper left-hand corner of the painting Young Woman Powdering Herself by the French artist Georges Seurat. The vase of flowers with its folding frame stands out in this intriguing painting for a number of reasons. First of all, it seems a little out of proportion in relation to the rest of the composition. Also, it's very angular in what is otherwise a sea of curves between the voluptuous sitter, the small vanity table in front of her, the floral motifs and the wave-like shadows on the wall. What's more, it's unclear what it's meant to represent. Is it a window, a painting hanging on the wall, or a mirror reflecting something in the space? And finally, it's painted much thicker than the rest of the painting, which makes the small dots of color that Seurat was famous for much more difficult to discern. Seurat had learned the lessons of the Impressionists to capture light through color, but he had gone further. He wanted to develop a systematic method called pointillism. He used a tight juxtaposition of small dots of pure color to model his figures and his landscapes. The dots were meant to blend not on the palette or on the canvas, but in the viewer's eye, which created a much more dynamic image, or so the theory went. In addition to Young Woman Powdering Herself, the Courtauld owns several other paintings by Seurat, including the bridge at Courbevoie that you see here, where he applied this approach for the first time. You can see in this detail how he used small dots to render the grass and the shadows falling on it. Seurat was also very interested in color theory and how colors play off of each other, and he liked to juxtapose complementary colors such as blue and orange, as in this detail, to enhance their impact. One reason that the paint looks quite thick in this area is that the vase of flowers may have been painted over another image. This is something that has long puzzled art historians. Almost a century ago, a critic and curator recounted the story that Seurat had initially put his own portrait in place of the vase of flowers, but had painted over it after a friend pointed out to him that it looked a little bit ridiculous. The anecdote seems almost too droll. No self-portrait by Seurat exists, and indeed he only created 36 paintings in his short career before dying at the age of 31 in 1891. He was also a famously private artist, and even the friend who made fun of his self-portrait did not know that the model, the sitter, who was named Madeleine Knobloch, was in fact Seurat's partner, and she bore him 2 sons. The story continues that when this friend found out about this relationship after Seurat's death, he bitterly regretted his intervention. But is this story true? Over the years, X-rays were taken to try to penetrate the paint layer to see if indeed there was anything underneath the vase of flowers, but these attempts were unsuccessful. But recently, advances in image technology means that conservators and scientists are able to get much more precise images and also to separate the distinct and different paint layers. So thanks to a scanner developed by the Italian National Institute of Optics, it was finally possible to get a clear image of the composition underneath the vase of flowers. It depicts, as you can see, a man whose long face and pointed beard closely resemble one of the few photographs of Seurat. So not only is the anecdote true, but we can expand on it. The figure is seated in front of a canvas, and the long, narrow object in his hand is probably a paintbrush. So Seurat represented himself in the act of painting, and indeed, the frame is supposed to be a mirror, allowing Seurat to be present in the same space as Knobloch. So instead of what has been sometimes perceived as a farcical painting meant to poke fun at this imposing sitter towering over her dainty table, young woman powdering herself had in fact a very personal meaning for Seurat. So who would have thought that a simple vase of flowers could conceal and now reveal so much? Thank you for watching, and I hope that you will join us for the next episode of In Detail.